trying to get to know yourself and not just following a fad or a trend so you can live under the name of wokeism or consciousness. I mean, they've torn that down now. If they want you to be a drug addict and drink scissor, then just make all the music about that. So easy to target in so many ways, and they'll do it through the youth, and not just like teenagers, but all the way up to like the 20s and 30s. They can have us at any age, um, on any subject, on anything that they want to program in. If they want us making babies, then they'll bring back R. Kelly. They want,
Oh, he on his way.
uh, let him out. Shit,
He about to get out.
I ain't mad at R. Kelly. But
Look,
check it out. Yeah.
now R. Kelly's situation is so foul. You know, R. Kelly is like an idiot savant. He a musical genius, but a social idiot. I'm
Okay.
serious.
Right.
Socially, he's intellectually like a second grader.
But did he have a lesson to learn, or are they Bill Cosby and him?
Look, if you go back and review the R. Kelly case and find out how he beat all them girls, there's some grown ass stinking bastard bringing these babies to the studio. So that he was being set up from the word go, it's obvious. The problem is when he went down, none of the dirty bastards that was feeding these babies to him was even questioned.
So did he have a lesson to learn or not?
He retarded.
Damn.
He retarded. Ain't no, that's the best way I could say it where you could grasp. He's socially retarded, but he's a musical genius. He a Rain Man. That's what he is. An idiot savant.
And so yeah, if he can't read or write, but he can he can cause over 50% of a population to be born through his music, then there is something there. There's definitely something there.
So only reason why they trapped him up in that court case because they was trying to steal R. Kelly's royalties. Damn. But somebody got his paperwork where he can't even get his money, but it'll pay his child support. Right. So that's just to keep whoever it was trying to set him up from stealing all of his money when they got done misusing him. Somebody got to go in there and find out why these artists ain't getting their money.
Damn! Wow.
Well, they getting paid.
They getting their money stolen from them through a sharecroppers contract that they call a 360 record deal. When they get done with the record deal, the artists end up with no assets, and the record company end up with the rights to the records. Your assets is liabilities. In reality, buying all that shit is draining your economics without replacing it.
Wow. Yeah, we got a lot going on. Who'd ever even thunk a person in the slave condition that they say we were in, right? If they telling the truth about slavery, there's no way we recovered like this, like we are. Like it's some very, very intelligent Negroes out there, right? I don't see them coming from no slave mentality where you done saw your child being eaten by alligator, your man being buck something, Uh, it's like some things don't add up.
You know what gator baiting was about, don't you?
I don't.
So
What?
the gullers, these are bad motherfuckers. The gullers that was in the swamp was friends with the alligators. They used to ride them and attack the Spaniards in Florida.
Mm.
Because the gators was that's the Sobek priests.
So
And
bad. Okay.
yeah, so they ride the alligators, feed the alligators, pet their belly and all that shit. They wouldn't attack them.
Mm-hmm.
But the foreigners smelled different and they would attack them
Mm-hmm.
because they came over. They look like us, but they don't smell like us.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So the gators would eat the Spaniards. And then they start taking and kidnapping our babies, raiding our villages, and trying to get the gators used to our blood. Now, the lie that they tell us is that they gator baited so that the gators would catch the runaway slaves.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really because we was in harmony so much with nature, we could deal with gators in their natural environment without being attacked by them. But the
Right.
invaders couldn't.
Whoa.
That was part of the gullers. We was kicking their ass.
So the stories are true. It just wasn't us being eaten by the
It
gators.
wasn't,
It was them.
no. They was being eaten by them out the gate.
Right.
They started raiding our villages using our babies' blood to bait the gator to make them have a taste for our flesh.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
We had people had big ass houses in the swamps built
Right.
on sticks.
Right.
Right? Those were like between the treetop villages and the ground villages. And they got around on gator backs and on stand-up canoes.
Mm. Really, Tess?
No, this
No,
is what it
I see it. I see it. The liquid drops.
is, some serious shit. They were using that's why there was such a controversy where I mean they had stamps that they used for mailing shit for this stuff. That's why there was such a little I mean such a an uproar where
You
they
see my man on the gator right there?
Mm.
this one.
That's how we used to ride them.
Damn.
But that's what Avatar the movie is all about.
Yep.
You know, so yeah, it's just
It makes sense that they would encounter the tree walkers first. They call them skywalkers
Mm-hmm.
because they would be the closest to the upper atmosphere. Some of those trees used to go so high that the top of them would freeze in the upper atmosphere to stop them from growing.
Right.
But their trunks will continue to expand. They
Mm-hmm.
tell us some of these tree trunks is mountains now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, down during the slave times in Florida and Louisiana and other parts of American South. That was the battle zone.
Right.
Before the Louisiana Purchase, we was fighting the French in New
right
Orleans.
fact.
Right. Like constantly fighting them. And
Mm-hmm.
somebody had put up a chat saying, "Are we POWs?" Which I believe we were
We
acting
were.
POWs.
We
But
wasn't slaves. We were POWs, but we
right.
here now to get overthrow the motherfucking hostage regime, the hostile invader, the colonist, the colonizer,
Mm-hmm.
right? The colon liar, however you want to pronounce it. He lying out his ass. We ain't come on no ship. He was already here. We was them motherfuckers that wore the feathers and they came over here wearing fezzes.
Mm. Uh-huh.
They want to tell us America everything but the great Atlant and ain't got nothing to do with none of that shit in the Bible. Until we associate ourselves with it, that's the only time it's involved.
Mm-hmm.
It's a contract, it's a riddle, and it's a motherfucking blueprint to overthrow the papacy. So if you don't know what the Bible is, you don't even need to read it.
See, I'm finding that out the hard way.
All you gotta do is go back to the study Emperor Constantine before he set up the Nicene Council. Look at his diaries.
Yeah, I
He
did.
was trying to figure out how can I bottle this shit these motherfucking earthborn got and sell it.
Yeah.
And that's what our Bible study been about. Like we don't understand. Our people really do not understand. There is no religion involved. It is all penal colony code for usurpers, minors.
Face to Gordon. Yeah.
Greetings and salutations, Gordon. Yeah, that's what they here for.
But
That's
see, we in the process of overthrowing them. Until we reach critical mass of awareness that they've been served an eviction notice, they can't leave. It's our people the ones keeping them here because we keep going to work and sending our children to their exploitation centers called school.
And it's
If you
hard
do a basic etymology of the word school, it'll make you not want to send your child no more.
Damn.
The English word school comes from the Yiddish word shul, and the Yiddish word shul comes from the Hebrew word sheol, and sheol in Hebrew translates into English directly as hell.
Damn. So you send your baby to hell.
I ain't the one to talk to you. Ain't heard it from me.
Damn. Wow. It's sort of like the more you find out what all they did, you know, the more you got to give it to Negroes. Like shit, who else can go through an onslaught of such a planned oppression of a people with all the physical stuff that they threw in, the rapes, the killings, the hangings, and all of that shit.
That was based on a document called The Most Bloody and Sacred Oath of the Papacy.
Yeah, write that down. Okay. Because I like reading shit like that too on my channel.
That was their order to kill us.
The most bloody and sacred.
The most sacred and bloody oath of the papacy.
How's that going to be much different than the oath from the Jesuits?
This is a direct order to kill the kings, the princes, and the people of the land to keep them from ascending, from realizing who they is. This was their tools to hold on to power.
Right. And so wouldn't the papacy and all of that come as a result of the Jesuits?
The Jesuits is just a priesthood in the Catholic Church. I don't trust none of them motherfuckers. They all dirty to me.
Right. Yeah.
But they got a group of priests in the Catholic Church called purists. And their only job is to get rid of the pedophile, rapist priests and the corrupt priests to sell drugs and in bed with organized crime. That's how we got all of the information out of the Vatican over the years of the dirt that the popes was doing. Because the purest priest was writing about it, putting it in the public domain.
Like all them bones they found up under there.
Yeah, them was all sacrifices from the early church.
Mm.
The Vatican filled with bones. It's built on bones.
Not just the Vatican, there's several of those cathedrals over there. One of them got the blood, the cup, that they measure the amount of blood that they spill. Because if they overflow that blood, then that's it. Their rule is automatically up.
Mm.
It don't count when they make us kill each other, though. So
Right.
when they spill blood, they make it count. They do assassinations on heads of state and shit like that. We randomly kill a nigga in the street over a pair of shoes.
Yep.
So they killing, they making it count. They getting the most bang for the buck. They stopping the kings and the princes from rising to power. We helping them, but we don't know we helping them. We think we being ride or die with our homeboy, never knowing we at war with a whole nother entity that swore a death oath to kill us off and replace us with them.
And aren't they also like putting stuff in our food that make us kill each other or act like
They put all kind of stuff in our food. They put stuff in our food to give us cancer, give us dyslexia, give us early menopause, late menopause. They put shit in the food that cause brain tumors, brain aneurysms. They know what they feeding us. Straight poison. Pharmakia is sorcery. Look it up.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I ain't gonna never be done studying. I'm never gonna be able to go outside and play. I'm telling you.
That's when you're gonna really see stuff when you go out and play.
Yeah. Shit, I'm not gonna be able to done reading and studying and looking shit up and listening to guides like Rod. And you know, I go all the way back to the Dr. Dilbert Blair days and all of the other greats, Phil Valentine, just who all the deeply conscious and real conscious people listen to. I didn't skip none of that. Ray Hagen's, the whole shebang is under here. Even some of the white cats like Phil Valentine, Bill Donahue, and what's the fat one name? Jordan Maxwell and shit like that. So
Jordan Maxwell was the truth.
Huh?
Jordan Maxwell was the truth.
Yes, absolutely. And also helps you understand what their law is based off of and how petty they are when they like when Copernicus determines that the world is round, or the apple falling from the tree, how they discovered gravity, Einstein's E equals MC squared. It's like they're allowed to just claim themselves to be whatever they want to be. And
now all of those scientists that you mentioned,
yeah,
all that science they allegedly discovered is in physics form in Egypt.
Really?
And Egypt got it from over here.
Yes, absolutely. Because I just wonder a long time ago, like, how come everybody's not trying to make their way over to Africa? Like, why here? So I have been pondering that.
This is the so-called promised land and the holy land and the land of milk and honey.
That's right.
In God's country.
This is the land of milk and honey. It's in the Bible.
Right. And I do believe the people from this land are the great ones, because look at us. Look at us. All over the world, we set the trend for everything. Everything, even though we're an oppressed people, or
Is it not written you are the salt of the earth?
mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. And if you don't recognize that, then you're not looking with, like put some glasses or some bifocals on or something, because anything we do, they're going to be interested in it. Dr. Africa said that they really don't have nothing else to study but us, which meaning that when they're studying the animals and other things, they just want to compare it to us because they can't understand why we are like we are or who we are. So
that number on the Georgia Guidestones I asked about earlier, the number was the number of organics that was on the earth when the aliens came. Remember, the women could reproduce. They reproduce by choice on purpose.
right.
They activated their menstrual cycle on purpose. But now you can't control your menstrual cycle because they put the moon up there to artificially. In the tribal code, that means all of the pieces of the mirror has been set up.
Go ahead.
Now you got to be able to see through it where all of the chiefs sat across the land and the matriarchs.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Right. And not until Califia can see Columbia will we be successful. Now they face to face Red House, Blue House.
Go ahead.
Right. So we actively code flipping and everybody facing. I'm just telling them what the code is. So that means that the two serpents, the two dragons around the caduceus, the staff, the straight bump, right? That's that Shakti energy. The Shakti energy of the red and the blue give you a red serpent, blue serpent, or red dragon, blue dragon, whispering in the ear of the straight bump in order for his wings to pop out his head. It's all genetic coding. But it's given to us in a symbols and signs format that only a certain level of self-training will you be able to see it.
Hey, Roy, I noticed that when they took our culture and reversed us around, like I know, like I was talking with this guy, this Puerto Rican guy, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, they have it Christmas," and I was like, "Oh, what y'all cooking for Christmas?" And he like, "Oh, we sticking with our cultural food, the food that we eat from where we from." And like so, but over here in America, American food is not considered as the stuff that we originally ate before they came. It's all mixture of Chinese is considered all these different foods, right? So I'm thinking that and that's my question, that the foods that were over here before that we ate, that we from this ground, those foods that are organic and grown to that ground never made us sick. We ain't heard none of these diseases that they talking about until they brought.
Go back to the disease thing again. Every disease that you know of has a patent number. That means that they made that stuff in the laboratory. Chemical warfare. Go back to smallpox and blankets. Now that's revolutionizing and updated to the 20th century. Right? They ain't gonna keep putting smallpox in blankets. They got to figure out another way to poison us. We baby kids, we don't die. We fight toxicity than anything else.
Like even the vegans, we wasn't vegans over here. Like I tried the vegan.
Well, no, not necessarily. We had all spectrums of diets based on your tribe, because tribes. Some tribes had, a lot of tribes had similar diets, but no tribes had the same diet because they was all different families. When you go to the Southwest and you get Southwest, what they call Mexican cuisine, that was more how the Southwest Indians ate, with a lot of fresh vegetables, because they got a longer growing period and continuous harvest period than the people in the Northeast.
Okay. Yeah.
So they rely more on
what you call wild game. The people in the north, they a lot, because in the wintertime ain't no vegetation growing, and you still gotta eat.
Yes,
and you ain't finna eat sticks and twigs. So don't tell me that.
That's right. And then another thing, like I know we mostly barbecue or what we smoke or roast in the smokehouse. We never did have no grease and fried and all this. It was all roast.
The only problem with the grease is we using what they call uncured pig fat.
Damn, go ahead.
We using lard, or now we using a toxic vegetable oil that they have to infuse with certain toxins to order to make. And corn oils, right? You're supposed to use cold pressed oils like olive oil, peanut oil. It's easy to make peanut oil. All you got to do is boil some peanuts. The oil gonna float on top.
Yeah, peanut oil good. It's good. Like, but that olive oil is hard to fry in, man. You try to fry in there, you got to put like a thin layer of that shit to fry you some hot water cornbread in it.
Yeah,
you got to put a thin layer. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's how you supposed to use the oil when you frying that type of stuff. You only deep fry. You need something like peanut oil because it's polyunsaturated fat.
That's right.
It's the saturated fat that's the problem, not the unsaturated fat.
Yeah, but I like grilling. I like grill and barbecue. Really, just barbecuing, smoking it on the grill.
That's an ancient technique that we've been using for a long time, and they tried to act like they brought it from somewhere else. But it would behoove me is that we've been having them barbecue style festivals because you had a special designated uncle at each one of the Big Mama house that was the grill master.
Right.
Right. That's a cultural phenomenon to the America. Ain't no grill masters in Europe, Africa, or Asia.
Hey, that's a good point, Rod. Go on, break that down. That's a good point.
The grill master was the uncle that was designated to cook for the mass family gatherings where you was cooking whole cows or bison. You cooking whole elk. Yeah. Right. And if you don't cook it right, the food won't be good.
Yeah, I'm sure ain't no grill master.
Yeah, you needed a grill master. And then in the islands, they call them pit masters because they used to cook them underground, bury it and wrap it in the palm leaves.
Right. I know how
this is the culture to the land. This is not foreign. This because you don't find it nowhere else across the world.
No, not like you do it over here.
Right. So in the Americas, we got pit masters that cook over. You got some cook over the open flame. Right. Some cook over what's called the closed flame. The pit oven, which is a dome-like oven that they used to make out of mud.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Then you had the ones who dug the trench and have the different aromatic woods in the trench, smoking the meat, where he's only using the heat of the smoke to cure the food so that everybody can eat it straight off the grill.
Yeah, right. My grandma had a smokehouse. My big dad had a smokehouse.
Yeah. Now the smokehouse was for the meat that you sent home after the winter solstice because it had to be smoked. That's what you're doing from the pumpkin harvest that they call Halloween to the winter solstice. You preparing the meat to send home to we ain't no grocery stores. So the smoked meat didn't spoil. And
right.
So you smoke the meat to send it home with the families in the north, so that when they up there, they can eat in the wintertime, and it reduced our need to have to hunt in the north. And they normally did this to they send a apprentice child from New Orleans to Chicago. And he end up setting the family up there. When he go home to the family farm to get his food for the winter. Right? And that's to make sure that the family fed. We didn't have no grocery stores.
That makes sense, bro. Hey, that
grocery
makes sense.
Stores is new.
I heard Chief Warhorse say that we used to take over here. We used to our refrigerators. We had outdoor refrigerators that were made from the waterfalls. That we used to take our meat and buffalo meat and hang it up behind the waterfall, and that would keep it cool during the hot times where the meat would stay cool. And then and they actually turned these places that where we had that into forts, military forts, because they starved us out. That was part
It
of
was one right next to Port Nola.
Go ahead.
Port Nola was like, because we was sending food from there to the islands, right? Because our big mama used to send the island big mamas care packages when the family would take trips down there. We would go to Jamaica just like people get married. Oh man, what you want to do when you for your honeymoon? I want to go to Jamaica. We was doing that back then, but we didn't go so disrespectful. We came bearing gifts. And then the people in the island would send us back home with gifts for our big mama. Take big mama this. All of the stuff we don't make up here. She might give her a year's supply of plantain pies. We don't grow plantains up here. You know, but it was a courtesy in the communication across tribes that was cut off by the wars of colonization. That's why we never had wars with each other over here. If we had a problem, run that fade, nigga. From the chief to the brave, run that fade. I'm not finna bring my whole family and get them in this, and you ain't finna bring yours either. That's disrespectful on either one of our half. Now they drag the whole family in it. Hatfields and McCoys in this mofo.
Now, another thing about the reverse theory and how they reversed our culture. Now, we had certain